Continuing with the principles of exchange, as we see in Law's theory of social exchange, we come up with the principle of justice. Now, in this, the more exchange relations have been established, the more likely they are to be governed by norms of fair exchange. So, when we see that the, let's say, interaction is repeated and let's say social exchange continues, it takes a pattern. It takes some kind of, let's say, normative kind of situation. Not only the normative situation, but further to that, we have some kind of determination of some kind of rate of exchange, that how much action of one party is going to be rewarded by the actions of the other party. So we try to come up with some kind of rate of exchange, and the norms of the society determine what could be the rate of exchange, and connected with that, one might come up with the fair rate of exchange. So fair rate which is acceptable to both the parties and which is in accordance with the norms of the society. So we see that over time we see the less norms of fairness are realized in an exchange relationship, the more disposed deprived parties are to sanction negatively those violating the norms. So if we see that there is some rate of exchange which might be considered a fair rate, so if there is that one party is not reciprocating the exchange which was expected from that party, then the other party is likely to be, let's say, disposed towards conflict, going to have a negative kind of reaction, because to that party the whole exchange is not rewarding. So therefore, the party who feels deprived is going to, let's say, react negatively towards those parties or the other party who is not observing the norms of fair exchange, who is violating the norms of fair exchange. So we also see another principle which is called Marginal Utility Principle. So it means the more expected rewards have been forthcoming from the emission of a particular activity, the less valuable the activity is and less likely its emission is. So if we see that a particular exchange has been rewarding, and maybe repeating that, maybe the person's needs have been satisfied, person might not be looking for that. So it might be more like principle in the economics, more like law of decreasing returns. So we see that if the return with respect to the previous one is declining, then perhaps people might think of maybe decreasing the exchange or maybe stopping the exchange. And then we see another principle which is called Imbalance Principle. The more stabilized and balanced are one set of exchange relations among social units, the more likely are other exchange relations to become imbalanced and unstable. So we see that in a normal life, it is not exchange in one situation. The people might enter into exchange in different situations. Let us say within the family, within the educational institution, within the economic institution, purchasing of goods and services. There are a number of social exchanges. So we see that these exchanges get stabilized, take a shape, take a particular form, and when we say these are stabilized, it means there is some kind of balance. So we also see that if there is more balance in one type of exchange relations, very likely the person does not have that much resources to look after the other kind of exchange. So it might lead to some kind of imbalance in the other situations. So the more likely that it is more likely that the other exchange relations become imbalanced, because he has resources. If all the resources are put on one side, and maybe then there is not enough to continue the exchange in the other situation. So that is how the different exchange relations might different exchange relations in different situations might not be balanced in every let's say situation. So there could be imbalance in the other one.